I love that tune. I love that tune. Harlan picked that out, and that was I love that tune. I could listen to that all day long. Is it catchy, right? It's catchy. So this is the first time Harlan and I are back in the studio here together in I think it's almost 2 weeks.
Longer? 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not all of us have the the ability to go to Italy for the third time in our life. Some of us are.
Not all of us have an infected toe.
A little less.
Keep your distance with that toe.
All right, touche. You got me there. All right. Well, welcome to everybody who's watching us on Facebook. Also, welcome everybody who's watching us on DennisMichaelLynch.com right now, which is obviously fed through YouTube, also on the app. Just a little something to put out there before we start the show completely, fully, as we always let the audience build. Something important, those of you who are watching on the app, those of you who are watching on DennisMichaelLynch.com, the great thing about watching it on DennisMichaelLynch.com, which you could do on your phone or your computer or what have you, is we do have the comments section there that you can make your comments and read the other people as well. So we've got it happen in both spots. We know that you're reporting a crackling sound that is coming from the DennisMichaelLynch.com or the app. That is not us. That is something that happens in this box that we bought from this company that helps us feed out both to YouTube and Facebook. We are waiting, Harlan tells me that we are waiting on a new box. Hopefully that will change it. So the crackling sound will hopefully be something that goes away, because like you for the last couple of days when watching Harlan on the Hill, I have been watching these things and getting the same experience that you've had. So we are trying to fix it. We're doing everything we can. It's not on our end. That's just very important for you to know. Okay, so a couple of things we're going to do today. We are going to discuss, obviously, the going-ons, if you will, of everything that's taking place with Comey. All right? I mean, the mainstream media is trying to find its way. And what I mean by that is they're trying to find their way. What's going to stick best? What narrative is going to bring Trump down most? How do we do this? How do we spin it? And meanwhile, we're going to break all that down for you, Harlan and I, here today. We're also going to talk about some other stuff as well. I'm going to bring up to you something I think you're going to find very interesting, an email that I sent off to Governor Huckabee yesterday about his daughter, Sarah, who filled in for Sean Spicer. So we're going to get into a bunch of different things here. We're going to go for 1 hour. There is not going to be a Harlan on the Hill today. Just so this way you also know what we have going on here over the next 2 weeks. I've explained this to you before. I'm going to explain to you again before we get really heavy into some of the political commentary here. My daughter is here today. She would absolutely kill me if I told Tim to put the camera on her. I'm not as afraid as Miss Mary as I am of Miss Ashley. So, because Miss Mary won't make me dinner, Miss Ashley will never talk to me again if I dare put the camera on her right now. However, there will be a day where I do focus that camera on this beautiful young lady, but not on her first day at work. So anyway, she's here in the studio with us as well. But over the next 2 weeks, and my son starts with us next week. So over the next 2 weeks, Harlan and I, we're going to start right after we're done with the show. We're going upstairs. We're taking a look at everything that works, everything that hasn't been working. We're taking all your feedback. We're starting to develop all of our different shows. This way, by the end of May, beginning of June, probably do it right after the holiday, we are going to start consistently every single day with 3 different programs: The Walk and Talk, Harlan on the Hill, and The Truth. And so within the next 2 weeks, all of our graphics are going to be improved. All of our sound is going to be improved. The way we deliver clips to you. We're really starting, come June 1, of building the DMLdaily network with the understanding and the hope and the desire, and God willing, that by the end of the year, we will have a full-fledged network. That is if I do not have a heart attack before then. All right. So that said, let's talk about heart attacks. Let's talk about Comey and the heart attack his firing is giving to the media. But before we do that, I want to read to you, it's not that long, I want to read to you the letter that Comey sent last night off to his colleagues, if you will. It says, "I have long believed that a president can fire an FBI director for any reason or for no reason at all. I'm not going to spend time on this. Continue to live our values and the mission of protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution. If you do that, you too will be sad when you leave, and the American people will be safer. Working with you has been one of the great joys of my life. Thank you for the gift, and sincerely yours, Mr. Comey. Now, it is very important for the mainstream media and all the Democrats to listen to what this man wrote. I have always believed that the president can fire me for any reason. The Democrats, Harlan, and the mainstream media are trying to put out that there is a constitutional crisis going on. There can't be a constitutional crisis when the Constitution says you can dump the guy.
Yeah, well, and he had every motivation to, and let's be honest, had Hillary Clinton won, she would have likely fired Comey as well.
Been gone.
And both sides, there was bipartisan consensus until 24 hours ago that this guy was incompetent and should be fired. You know, and then what changed? Trump decided that he wanted to fire him, and then Democrats, fall apart.
We posted yesterday on DennisMichaelLynch.com a retweet that came from the president's Twitter account. And it was to an article that listed the 10 flops, if you will. You could call them flops, you could call them mishandlings, you could call them scandals, you call them whatever you want. Sure. The 10 major things that wound up happening under Comey's direction. It turns out that one of the 10 weren't underneath him, but the 9 that were. We have a guy in Comey who cared more about his own media appearances, if you will, the message that he was conveying out than he did about the stuff that he wrote in this letter. Now, some people within the FBI may disagree with me. I'm sure they do. I'm sure he had his friends and his loyalists within that. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is not speculation or opinion on my part. All you have to do is look back at what this guy has done, and in some cases admitted to the American people that he went about things that aren't usually the way that are right to do, such as getting up in an impromptu news conference and saying we shouldn't be prosecuting Hillary Clinton.
But then listing all the reasons that they should have been prosecuting her. I mean, it did a tremendous disservice to Hillary Clinton, and it did a tremendous disservice to the rule of law because he refused to enforce it after detailing every single reason that he should have. It was incredible.
Now the narrative today, this is where the liberal press is trying to come up with the ways in which they can spin this to make Trump look like an absolute moron. Okay? This morning, before we got in here to doing work, it was great. My wife, she looks like my wife. My daughter was driving, and as we were driving here, I'm actually writing articles and doing assignments in the car, using my phone to connect or whatever it may be. I think we almost got killed 7 times by trucks. I'm like, who taught you how to drive? She's like, you did, Dad. Yeah, I was like, no. I didn't teach you how to do this. And then I'm like, slide into this lane, and she's like, okay. And I'm like, no, stop. I mean, it was nuts. It was like, I was like this the whole time. Talk about, Comey, you think you were nauseous? You see the way I was today. But anyway, so in going there, I'm looking at the articles published this morning. The mainstream media has had 24 hours to catch its breath and saying, how do we position this? And so you've got ABC News and Washington Post putting out the big headline that the Deputy Attorney General was he threatened to quit. I'm leaving. Because the White House is putting out the narrative that they solely fired this guy based on my recommendation. That Trump had nothing to do with it, and the White House had nothing to do with it. This guy was going to be fired. And then they went as far as saying that they're putting out mixed messages about why it is that Comey was fired. And they stated, here's the mixed messages, Harlan. Trump said that he wasn't doing his job well. And Huckabee, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, said he was committing atrocities. I'm not sure how that's 2 different messages.
I don't know either.
But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying, Harlan, it goes back to what I've been saying since the day after the election. They're trying to not lose that Russian narrative. They want to take it and they want to attach it to the Comey firing in every single way they can.
Absolutely. At this point, I'm wondering what it does for the country and for President Donald Trump to have these press conferences anymore, to even address the press. What does he get out of it? What do the American people get out of it?
We get absolutely
This
nothing.
is another discussion, but I mean, I wonder if he should just stop playing ball with these guys. Stop giving them interviews.
Just turn them off. Just turn them off completely. I don't know if he has the personality, Harlan, to do that. I think he is addicted.
I think so
to the media and seeing his name in lights. And he doesn't like it when it's in bad lights, but he's addicted to that. He's fueled by it to a certain degree.
If I were him, I think I would turn, the White House has a videographer team. I think I would turn that into something like this and just start pumping out their own message to counter-program it. I think that's what they should do.
I think, well, when the day comes, and it's coming, it's coming. There's going to be a couple of things that we're going to be doing here on this show, on my walk and talks, and a few other things. I have had like a total, I don't know if you want to call it a coming to Jesus. In the last week, there have been a lot of things that have taken place in this country, in my life, in my mindset, that I've got this new part of me that is just, I'm fully determined on certain things. There is no question in my mind, if God keeps me healthy, which obviously I have a lot to say in that. Note to self, take Girl Scout cookies out of cabinet. There's no doubt one of these days I'm going to run for office. There's no doubt one of these days I'm going to run for office, because I've tried to come up with the, you don't want to do this. Destroys you. Look what they're doing to Trump, or whatever it may be. And I can't get away from that statement that says, if I were him, if I were him, if I were him, if I were him. And that leads me to believe that I want to be him. I want to be in that spot. What you just said is so spot on, because odds are, for as long as I could get you to lose the pink shirts, you will be a part of whatever I do. And if we get in there, I won't hold these stupid things.
It's dumb.
We will control our own narrative. It is something I talk about. I know you talk about it as well, but I talk about it constantly on the Walk and Talks. I've been talking about it forever. He has to control the narrative. If he controls the narrative, a lot of these problems go away. And he feeds them too much stuff. And then he's got nobody to blame in certain spaces than just himself. Now, that being said, I think the idea of him having a daily briefing, whether it's him or Sarah or Spicer or whatever it may be, in the video format you're talking about, is a guarantee. And you know what? You want to send in questions? Send in questions. And we'll answer your questions. We'll do them officially. We'll even post them. We'll even post them on the website. I want to play a clip, and it's about a minute, so I want you to listen because it's very important. It's where he and I are going to be talking for the next couple of minutes about. I'm going to play a clip from something that just took place minutes ago at a hearing that's taking place in the Senate right now. You got the clip ready? This is Senator Warner. He's obviously a Democrat. Go.
The timing of Director Comey's dismissal, to me and to many on this committee on both sides of the aisle, is especially troubling. He was leading an active counterintelligence investigation into any links between the Trump campaign and the Russian government or its representatives, and whether there was any coordination between the and Russia's efforts to interfere in our election. For many people, including myself, it's hard to avoid the conclusion that the President's decision to remove Director Comey was related to this investigation, and that is truly unacceptable. We were scheduled to hear directly from Director Comey today in open session. We and the American people were supposed to hear straight from the individual responsible for the FBI investigation. We anticipated asking Director Comey a series of questions about his actions and the actions of the FBI in terms of looking into which Trump associates, if any, and some of their actions during the campaign as it relates to the Russians. However, President Trump's actions this week cost us an opportunity to get at the truth, at least for today.
Okay, here's how asinine that statement is. I said this yesterday in the Walk and Talk. I'm going to repeat it again, and it's our job to repeat this sort of thing as much as possible, because this is what I'm talking about. The light's gone on in my head over the last week, is that one of the things that the GOP and conservative media does terribly is we hit and run.
Yeah.
We hit these topics, we go to the next topic. We hit these topics, we go to the next topics. We never follow up. Meanwhile, the liberals will keep on pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding away. And that's why their messaging is so good. They know that it's Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile. Even though Coke ruins your teeth, Coke and a smile, Coke and a smile. They know that the theory of call it a Band-Aid, call it a Band-Aid. It's not a Band-Aid. That's the name of the brand. But because of creative marketing, that's why it sticks.
Yeah.
Band-Aid instead of adhesive strip. We're going to keep on pounding away and pounding away on this message. Here is the message. There's nothing stopping the FBI from continuing its investigation into Russia and any collusion they think that President Trump had with the Russians. Bring it on. Keep it going. Comey does not stop that investigation. There has been no blockade to the truth. It is a lie. The senators, these Democrats, and the liberal media, they lie, 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 lie. There is nothing that is stopping it. There is nobody who's not showing up at work today at the FBI other than Comey. Everybody else who is on that investigation continues to continue. They lie to you, they lie to you, they lie to you.
Yes.
There is no reason for a special prosecutor in this case. We've got the House, we've got the Senate, we've got the FBI. They're all working on this. There's no reason for anything. Go ahead.
Just to shut them up. Why not just slot one in there?
I knew you were going to say that. And that's where I'm going to come in to say, if you want a special prosecutor, no problem. But understand, we're opening up everything with Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
Great.
And everything. Now,
Yeah,
see?
that's what I want.
I
Yeah.
want it too.
Yeah,
We need
so let's
it.
do it.
We need
Yeah.
it. This is an opportunity. This is like somebody giving you a winning lottery ticket and saying, the lottery was yesterday, here's the ticket, go cash it. And you saying, oh, you know, I have a dentist appointment, I'll do it afterwards. No, you don't put it off, you don't wait,
Yeah, you
you
run
don't
down.
ignore it, you don't chance the fact that you'll lose that ticket, you
Yeah.
go right away and you cancel everything else that's in your way.
What you've just said is a big departure from what Trump is doing now. Trump, when he was running for office, was always on the offensive. He was at war. He had a warrior's mentality, and that has changed, and I don't know why. And so he's been on the defense. And what you're saying is if he changes and he says, sure, we'll have a special prosecutor to shut them up, and then he starts pursuing Hillary Clinton's own scandals, I would love that because it puts the Democrats on their heels, and they're not ready for that.
It totally puts them on their heels, and they won't expect it. And here's
Yes.
why. If he says, okay, fine, you want it? Well, let's put a special prosecutor on it. Let's put a special prosecutor
Yeah.
on it. That does two things. Number one is it removes the doubt of where he has something
Yeah.
to cover up.
Yeah.
All right? Number two is it opens Pandora's box for him to come out and say, obviously the media is really in search of the truth. And so am I. You get your prosecutor, and so now we're going to be reopening this as well. Let's get all the truth to the surface.
Yeah.
When he does that, he smokes them out. And to your point, President Trump, when he was candidate Trump, he was playing to win. Now he's playing not to lose. That is, from a coaching perspective, I've been a coach my entire adult life. Right, Ash? Right. I've coached my kids in basketball. I've coached them in football. I've coached everything. When you got a team that's playing not to lose, they're not gaining any yards. You got to play to win.
Yeah.
And he needs to get that back. He has lost a bit of his mojo. And that shows how effective the Democrats and the liberal media are at messaging and pounding and pounding and pounding. And as much as I despise Michael Moore, and I despise him, when I was in Washington, D.C. at the inauguration, he said something that's really spot on. He said the way to get to Donald Trump is to chip away at his ego by making people think that he's a bad person and he's not, and he's dishonest. And you just chip away and chip away and chip away and chip away.
Yeah.
They're getting under his skin. And he has got to get back. He's got to get back to who he was. This is what I thought Ivanka and Jared Kushner were going to do. They haven't done squat. They haven't done squat. And aside from Tillerson and Mattis and Sessions, who I believe are the blockers and tacklers for this administration, and you can't have a great football team if you don't have a great line.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody knows that.
Yeah.
Ask Dan Marino from the
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins why he has no rings.
Yeah.
And he was never protected the right way, or he never was given the right assets. So Trump is like Marino. He needs the best assets he can. He's got a great offensive line, but he's got no receivers and no running backs. He's got nobody who can actually do the razzle-dazzle.
Yep.
He does. Priebus is not doing the job. I don't think Bannon's doing the job. I don't think Kushner's doing the job. I don't think any of these people, even Kellyanne Conway to a certain degree, they've battered her so badly. I even watch her. She's even to the point now of starting to play defense instead of offense. She's still probably the best receiver we've got.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see President Trump bring in some new blood, people who are fired up, you know, and ready to rock and roll and to fight. These other people have had their ass kicked for a while. They're tired.
They've been at this for over a year and a half.
This is why I want to shift gears here for a second,
Yeah.
and I want people to weigh in on what they think with this. Are you ready to play the Sarah clip?
Huckabee.
The Huckabee clip? Yeah. I want to play a quick clip from you. It's not more than 20 seconds. It came from yesterday's press conference. Go ahead.
Not to sound like a broken record, but since you guys keep asking the same questions, I guess it's only fair that I keep giving the same answers. Not to...
What's your thoughts on her?
Well, I love her because she's a fresh take. She sounds like everyday Americans, right? I mean, she's not overly polished. She's just talking real. And so I liked her. I was surprised to see her. I didn't expect it. I didn't know that, I'll be honest, I didn't know that Spicer was going to be out for his Naval Reserve duty. Do you think that this is Trump's way of trialing her as a potential replacement to Spicer?
Well, first of all, Spicer is a national reservist.
National reservist.
So he has to, I believe it's once a month, he has to leave and go serve his duty. I mean, you have to do that. There's no other way around that. Whether this is a test or not, I think that's a little bit overblowing it because Sean had to be gone and he's got to keep to that. However, I think that Trump is a very reactionary person and I think he's going to like what he saw there. Yeah. Before I give you my complete answer, because I want to read something out to you, who do you like seeing better in that spot? Her based on her performance yesterday or Spicer?
Spicer's polished. And I think Spicer's good, but he has been through the ringer and he's made some mistakes. And based on what we've heard leaked out of the White House, it sounds like President Donald Trump's not very happy with Spicer's performance and was almost instantly not happy. And so I took this as the Trump administration taking advantage of the fact that, yes, Spicer had to go out for his was it Naval Reserve duty? Or
No. It's, you're in the you're a National Guard.
He's National Guard.
Guardist,
National Guard.
So he has to.
I had wrong information. I had Naval Reserve duty.
Oh, maybe he is Naval Reserve.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't know.
Whatever. I have no
look
idea.
at
But a reservist in
Yeah,
that,
he's a
that nature.
reservist.
I had a buddy of mine who was in that, and he had to go once a month.
Yeah.
He had to report for duty.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
But there was a reason why he wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't because it's like he replaced.
They didn't sideline
Yeah,
him.
it's not like me taking Tim and putting him on the sofa
Yeah.
and you telling you to go upstairs. You really had to
But
leave.
couldn't
and that's
Spicer
what-
get a pass? I mean, considering...
No, it's
Really?
the law. Yeah, I mean, can you get a pass? I mean, I was never a reservist, but I know my buddy would say, unless you're like really sick, and if you're really sick, you go to the infirmary. Yeah, no, you got to show up, man. If you don't show up, you're in trouble. But, and on top of that, he's serving his duty. Now, regardless of that speculation of why he was or why he wasn't there, I watched her yesterday, and I was blown away, to be quite honest. And I've had, and I think you know this from reading the comments, I've had our supporters time and again say that I would be fantastic in that role, and I would never take it.
No.
And I think one of the reasons why I wouldn't take it is because those reporters would try to position me in such a way like they have Spicer. I was so impressed with her. I wrote an email to Governor Mike Huckabee yesterday, who I have been going back and forth with for years. He's my favorite, prior host. He's my favorite host on Fox News. Favorite host. And we've become friendly over the course of time. And in fact, every time after a presidential debate, even though I was in favor of Trump the whole time,
Right.
I would always send him an email right after the debate, giving him what my assessment was and my analysis was of how he did. And he would always come back and say, thank you very much, la, 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 la. So here's what I wrote to him yesterday. I said, Governor, the greatest compliment a man can receive is a compliment about his children. That said, allow me to tell you that I am insanely impressed with your daughter. What an all-star. She is laser sharp, intelligent, and well-spoken. She should be on that podium every day. Hope you are well. And he wrote back, thanks, my friend. If I were Trump, I would make it where you didn't know who you were going to get.
Yeah.
Some days you get Spicer, some days you get Sarah. I'm not going to fire anybody, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to switch it up and make it. I'm going to do everything I possibly. If he's not going to do what you and I want him to do little private videos.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm going to do it. Sometimes I'm going to toss her out. Sometimes I'm going to toss him out. There's something about being able to project evil at a guy, and you can't project evil at a woman. I don't know what it is, but they are always going to treat her nicer and treat her with more respect than they do Spicer.
Yeah.
And I think that will go a long way. I'd love to see her take a more active role. In your case, you're saying, yeah, she's a little bit more
Real, authentic.
She's more real, more authentic.
I think she'll be received well at homes when they're playing the clips like this on the nightly news.
Yeah. She's a mom.
Mom.
Starts off yesterday by saying, my daughter's birthday today. Hey, be nice to me. To me, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way she responded to that, well, you keep on asking me the same question, I'm going to keep on giving you the same answer. She delivered it with a kiss. You know, Spicer sometimes delivers it with a punch. And so it's a lot easier to deliver it with a kiss and win the argument than if you're throwing punches.
Yep.
But sometimes, Arlen, punches have to be thrown.
Yep.
So that's why I would say switch it up a little bit. You know, change it up. Not throw the media off their game. Not letting them know what to expect is definitely a helpful way, I think, for Trump to start controlling the narrative.
Well, and I'll also add, I think Spicer deserves some credit because he's going into the lion's den every day.
Yep.
You know, and it's almost impossible to do that every day and not have some flubs. And I cannot think of a single press secretary over the years who's emerged from that role and been that much better for it. I mean, I guess Ari Fleischer is the best one I can point to. Tony Snow, but he died.
But look at take what you're saying and take what I'm saying and combine the two, and you'll see why it is that the strategy I'm putting forward is a smart one. You're right. Sean Spicer goes in every single day. Yeah. And it's like having to go into a brawl every day where it's 1 against 50. Yeah. And even if you keep your head above water, you leave tired. And so I like the idea of giving your starting pitcher 3 days rest. Let him come back and pitch a little bit.
Exactly.
You know, do that. Give him a time to catch his breath, because I think if he does that, I mean, that's my recommendation to the president right now. Stop following the traditional outline that has always been presented. Change things up. That was the whole thing about getting Trump into office. Change things up. You've already changed these press briefings every single day by allowing Skype to come in, although that's sort of slowed down. You know, letting the Skype come in and letting more people come in.
All those guests sucked. Everybody they brought in was terrible.
Blew. Yeah, we've been asked before whether we do it or not. Maybe we should. Maybe what we do is in June, you apply for us to see if we can't ask a couple of questions. Yeah. To me, it's a big, huge waste of time, to be quite honest. But I like the idea of Trump changing the game up and giving Spicer more time. And same thing for Sarah. You throw Sarah into that position every single day, she's eventually going to get beat up as well. And that's what you do. Keep on switching it back and forth, switching it back and forth. They'll stay more fresh. That's why your starting pitcher doesn't pitch every day. Yep. You know? All right, let's move on. What do we have here next? Okay. So we wanted to get into a little bit of positive nature, if you will. A lot of times, everything that we have to talk about over here is negative and negative and negative and right? So aside from once in a while telling you how a jobs report is great. And I think we've all come to realize the fact that aside from my children, of course, college kids today, by and large, are all flaming liberals. You know, they're all out there, and you know, they're standing up for something. In most cases, they don't even know what it is that they're standing up for. Well, to my pleasant surprise, I received today a video sent to me from actually a Long Island. It makes it even better. Tastes even better now. A Long Island team called Adelphi University, the men's lacrosse team. Instead of coming out to some rock and roll or rap song before they're introduced before the game, they come out to President Trump's speech. I mean, this must have taken every single last liberal professor and sent cringing chills down their spine. We're going to play this for you right now, because we just want to make your lunchtime. It's 12 o'clock noon. We want at 9 o'clock in the morning, depending on where you are. We want you to feel great again. So you ready, Timmy? All right, play it.
I make this promise. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
You want to talk about breaking the mold, man?
I know.
You want to talk about breaking the mold?
Yeah.
How many parents? I mean, this thing has gone viral over the last 24 hours, and it's going to continue to pick up steam. You know, in fact, when we put it on DennisMichaelLynch.com, we asked everybody to share it. So if you haven't done it yet, and Tim cut it down a little bit, go to DennisMichaelLynch.com. It's going to be towards the top on the first page. And you please watch it and share it and send it an email to an email blast, put it on your Facebook, everything. Just take that link off the top of DennisMichaelLynch.com, paste it somewhere and send it and let people see this, because we don't get many of these, especially when it comes to academia.
Well, the other thing that was an interesting tidbit is the head coach of the team said that traditionally they choose patriotic music to go into the field. You never hear that anymore. Never. I mean, it's always, you know, whatever. But it wasn't intended to provoke or make any political statement. It was just overwhelmingly positive. You know, and it's true. This line that they took out of President Trump's speech, you know, it ends with "God bless you and good night and I love you." You know, I mean,
Yeah. No.
you know, you talk about unifying the country. I mean, this speech. I mean, this is a great excerpt.
You take that and you put it to the music like they put it to the music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's uplifting, and if you,
It's not political.
it's not political at all, and it showed great leadership, and it's what America needed. And I love the fact that it wasn't some age-old men's softball team who did it, you know, down in down in the great state of Texas or Alabama. You know what I mean? It was, you know, and they ran in with a Confederate flag and gave every reason, every reason for the mainstream media to just play that clip a gazillion times.
Right.
Because you know that if it was an all-white men's softball team, 50 and over, from Alabama or Texas, playing that, going out on a softball field before whatever it may be, that would have been played by ABC, NBC, you know it. But I guarantee you, because it's youngsters at a college, it's not going to get any play except for places like this, places like us.
Yeah.
Do you foresee parents from the liberal persuasion, and let me tell you, here on Long Island, we are flooded with them.
Yeah.
Do you foresee complaints about that?
Oh, I'm sure they've already happened, right? I mean, there's no way they haven't. There's no way.
I mean, do you?
The professors probably were the first ones to be up in arms.
We
right?
can't
They're
do
all
this.
triggered.
There's a political statement.
Yeah.
We can't do this.
Right.
Now, if it were Barack Hussein Obama or Hillary Rodham Clinton, also known as Hillary Benghazi, you know that they wouldn't have complained. They wouldn't have complained.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So we got one more clip we wanted to play here for everybody. This one here, I found this one as interesting as the first one. Not as uplifting, though. There is a story. You want to present this one?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Why not? So, well, we have this video on DennisMichaelLynch.com, and it's a surveillance video that captured a terrifying incident at a gas station in Elmwood Park, Illinois. A man was approached by another man sitting in his car, and they both suddenly started shooting at each other. And according to police, the 43-year-old Ronald Morales made eye contact with a man who was pumping gas into his vehicle. He left the convenience store and immediately approached him, who by that time had sat back down in his car. Police say that the man in the vehicle felt threatened by Morales and opened his passenger door aggressively. That is when the man in the car got down, fired his own gun at Morales in fear for his life. Morales started to fire back and quickly ran away with injuries that resulted in his death. So I don't know if this is really what happened. It sounds very suspicious to me.
Do we have the clip?
Yeah. Oh, I thought we were playing it over me.
Do we have it? Yeah, we have it. All right, let's play the clip.
Were we playing it? No? Oh.
Video is as graphic. It shows a shootout that turned deadly at a gas station in Elmwood Park. Police say Ronald Morales, there in the orange jacket, walked out of a BP gas station on Grand Avenue last month, walked over to a man who was in his car after pumping gas. The man saw Morales coming toward him with a gun, got out of the car, pointed his own gun. The two started shooting at each other. Morales was hit. He ran off, but later died. The other man sped off. Police say he acted in self-defense.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's not being held accountable.
Doesn't this sound suspicious to you? I mean, I look at this and I wonder, I mean, if this was really just a misunderstanding, I mean, this just must mean that the American people are constantly on edge walking through life. I mean, to think that somebody just walking around your car is acting aggressively towards you. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound like we're getting the full story.
Well, let's assume for the moment that these two didn't know each other and that the story is all outlined as it was, right? That this guy was inside the convenience store. They made eye contact, right? While he was at the pump. And then the guy came out, I guess didn't like the eye contact, had a gun in his hand. So now the other guy's sitting there in his car and decides that he's going to grab his gun and here we go with the shootout. Now, there will be some who will make the argument to say, see, if you didn't have guns, you wouldn't have something like this. My contention is that if the driver didn't have a gun, it would be him who's dead.
Who's dead.
You know, it would be that poor guy who was just there trying to pump gas and who is subject to some psycho who just decides that he wants to come out and start flashing a gun and go. And this, of course, assumes that there's nothing other.
Sounds like a drug deal gone bad or something like that. I don't know.
Somebody owed somebody money or something like that. Yeah, but assuming that the storyline is what it is as reported, to me, this is as good as an example of why it is that every American should not be restricted from carrying anything on their side. I mean, here in New York, you know, good luck trying to go get yourself a sidearm.
Especially if you're in New York City. I mean, you can't hardly.
They have even cracked down so much harder than it was. I remember my uncle had a restaurant, and he was a veteran. And, you know, because he was in a cash business, and because he was a veteran, he eventually got, and I think he also had a friend or two in the police department, he eventually was given the ability to walk around with a sidearm. But aside from that, I mean, forget it. You go in and get one. I mean, they're going to turn you down.
And it's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. I mean, I've looked into this, and even I know high-profile people on TV that have tried to get firearms because they get threats all the time. I mean, you know what it's like. And they're not able to get them. So it's crazy. I mean, I would not wish the laws in New York as it relates to owning a weapon on any other state. It's totally unreasonable.
Yeah. You know, everything about New York to a certain degree sucks. If seriously, the stuff with guns sucks. The amount of taxes we pay,
ridiculous,
sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, the property taxes out here on Long Island are enough to just suffocate any human being.
Yeah.
All right. That's why I always laugh when people, you know, that little rumor was going around that we had bought this place. The property taxes on this place alone are $78,000 a year.
A year.
Property tax. Yeah. Property tax. What do you get? You know, what do you get?
Nothing.
And if you're a person who has no kids in the school district, I mean, you got to pay $78,000 a year to be able to have a small little man-made lake in your backyard. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Then you take a look at that, and then all this stuff in New York City with de Blasio. Now we just put something out on DennisMichaelLynch.com yesterday. The New York City Police Department has been informed that it is no longer allowed to respond to a call about loud noises at a party. You can't, as a cop, enter the dwelling if you think something's going on unless you get permission from the homeowner. So in other words, if right now we had this crazy party going on with all this loud noise going on, and it just seemed really peculiar to my neighbor, right? And we sat in here, we had guns, we had drugs, we had God knows what we had. We had girls in the back.
Running around.
Girls in the back. We had prostitutes.
Yeah.
Maybe we had somebody tied up against their will.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on? If a cop goes and he believes that something bad is happening inside there, he can no longer enter without the permission of the homeowner.
Which you're never going to get.
You're never going to get. Who's going to, if we were doing such horrendous things, you think we'd say to the cop, oh yeah,
Come on in.
Come on in.
Yeah.
We'd be like, no, you can't come in. The reason why they're doing this is because the state of New York, the city of New York, is losing so many lawsuits from homeowners who are claiming illegal entry. And oh, by the way, the cop destroyed my sound system.
Oh.
So out of fear of lawsuits and the money paid out in lawsuits, that is the new rule. Cops are no longer permitted to go in without the consent of the homeowner.
It's ridiculous.
How many people are going to wind up, either drug overdosing or getting their ass kicked or some bad thing that's going to take place because the cops are no longer able to do their job?
Yeah.
That's why the only thing that keeps me here, seriously, are the beaches. I'm not kidding.
There are other beaches, though.
No,
I mean,
you know what? There aren't.
No?
Not like these beaches. No
Why?
way.
What's different?
Ah, boy, how would we describe this? I mean, I've been everywhere. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Caribbean. I've been to Florida. Everywhere with a beach.
Yeah.
I need to have the beach. I cannot move to Arizona.
No, I would.
I can't.
I need
the mountains never move for me.
I don't like being landlocked.
No, I need that movement.
Yeah,
I have
got
a
you.
boat. Although it's a
yep.
small boat, 20 years old or whatever, it's still a boat.
Yeah.
And there's something about the beaches here that are just different than. I mean, we were just in San Francisco, Ashley and I. What was that place called? San Diego. Yeah, no, I know. I know it's called San Diego. What was the place in Corona? Not Corona. Was it Corona? Corona? Condosa? I don't know where it was. We were at some resort, and the beach was really nice.
Yeah.
But nothing like our beach. I don't know what it is. There's something about the Long Island beaches that are just phenomenal. I mean, look, the beach where we live.
Yeah.
Every single year, U.S. News, World and Report, whatever, ranks beaches around the world.
Yeah.
The beaches where we live,
Yeah.
3 different beaches, are always like number 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
So we're always the top beaches, always ranked the top beaches. Coronado. There we go. Smarter end of the two of us gets it. So anyway,
All right.
I should move out of New York, but I can't do it. All right, so anything else we want to say here, report here, or
It
do
would be
here?
good if you want to run for office.
That'd
be a good stepping stone.
It would be a great stepping stone. And I've been thinking, I tell you, last week I've been going over everything in my head. The governorship, I looked this up, the governorship for New York, Cuomo's going to definitely run. He's got a huge war chest of $26 million already.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
On the Republican side, they have nobody. They got this guy, Astorino, who is the Westchester County executive. He tried running last time against Cuomo, got blown out of the water.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even close. He's going to get blown out of the water again. He's the front runner to this guy. Yeah. Then they've got another guy who is a hedge fund dude. So he's going to be slammed by everybody as being dishonest because he's a trader or Wall Street guy.
Right.
But he tried running for an office before too, and he lost. So we've got a bunch of people who aren't winners. They can't win. They're proven losers.
Yeah.
I know Ed Cox. Ed Cox is the head of the Republican party here.
He used to be on your show.
He used to be on my show.
Yeah.
So he knows me. The issue I have with it is that it's for the 2018. If it was for 2018, I would have to start probably 6 months from now, and that would definitely interrupt what we're doing here. Even if I were to push it off a little bit,
you can't.
You can't push it off a little bit. But there's nobody, and Donald Trump Jr. said that he doesn't want to run. And on top of that, right now, the Trump name, especially in New York politics, isn't doing all that well.
They could run in Florida. They'd probably do well.
Oh, he'd do well in Florida, and I think that might be one of the reasons why. Because what's his face, the governor down in Florida, is done.
Yeah.
I don't think he's running for re-election. He'll probably try running for president next go around.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, yeah, I've been thinking about the governorship of New York. But you know what? I only get
They're easier places.
I was going to say, I only like getting into things if I know I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I'm not certain that a conservative can win New York.
I don't know. We would have to look at the polling.
It'd be tough. I mean,
yeah.
I think I could probably take Long Island and take upstate, but taking New York City and the 5 boroughs, come on, man. Seriously.
Against a machine like Cuomo. I mean, if you know.
It'd be tough. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
It'd be tough.
All right.
All right, so give us your feedback. What do you think, Governor Lynch with my Lieutenant Pinky Tuscadero over here? With his
the pink shirt's optional.
It's
all
salmon,
right?
right? It's salmon. It's
like
salmon.
the walls.
It's salmon, yeah, like the walls. No,
Yeah.
the walls are not that color. It may come out that way on YouTube, but it ain't that color. So anyway, you know what? It says that you're proud of yourself.
I'm secure.
You're secure. You're secure.
Although
in your-
Rachel had me go to Soul Cycle. You know what that is?
No.
It's like a cycling thing. My ass hurts so bad. You sit in this. It's like a bicycle.
Okay.
And you sit in it, and it hurts. Oh my God! And you go for 45 minutes. It's intense. Music, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, so she made you go exercise.
She made me go. Yeah.
So she's about as happy with your body as my wife is with mine. Yeah, we've got a lot to do here, man.
Yeah,
You and I.
well,
Maybe we can do it.
They don't need to trade notes because I don't wish what happened to me on you. Because
I'm not going on a bike.
no.
No, I got to walk, man. I got to walk or I got to run. I got to do something. But Ashley's home now. She's my exercise partner. And then
There you
when
go.
Dennis comes home, he's my exercise partner. The problem is we work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right. So anyway, tell us what you think. All right. If you tell us what you think about anything that we said here today, go to DennisMichaelLynch.com, hit the submit button, and make sure you take our polls. I want to give you a couple of poll results. Oh, this is something I shouldn't forget. And you know what? We're wrapping up a little bit early here today because we have things to do that are pressing. But I will give you the extra couple minutes here on a few different polls that I want to tell you. If you were watching me yesterday on the Walk and Talk, I told you about a poll that we put up, whether or not you supported, asking people whether or not you supported the firing of Comey. And so what happened is that within like the first half hour, this thing was at 90%, right? That people supported the entire thing. Then what wound up happening was like I checked an hour later and it was at 80%. And I was like, wow, that dropped really quick. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it came out to be that it was almost like 60-40. And I'm like, something here is not going right. And meanwhile, I looked at the traffic and the poll was like getting like thousands and thousands of people 2 hours after it was done. That never happens.
Yeah.
It's like right after it posts on Facebook, right after it posts on the app, people come in and then they move on with their day.
Yeah.
Somebody on social media put it on a left-leaning page called @RoguePotus.
Okay.
And they have 1 million followers, sort of like we do on Facebook. And they put it up, and then that's when they started to lean the other way. So we tried to fight fire with fire, and then we started to tell more people. We kept on posting it on Facebook, to reach more people. So in 24 hours, this poll has been shared 41,000 times just on our website.
Wow.
Forget how many times it was shared on Facebook or on Twitter.
Yeah.
And the results, I'm looking at it for the first time right now, is that the Trumpers have prevailed. It is, are you pleased with Trump's firing of Comey? Yes, 57%. No, 41%.
Oh my God.
Uncertain, 1%.
It's way too close.
It is. It's way too close, is right. But you got to give credit to the Team DML family out there who is making sure they go. Now, we only let people vote once, so that kind of gives you an indication of how many people participated. And then today, and this is good because we'll talk about this tomorrow on the Walk and Talk. Today we put up a poll which has definitely gotten a lot less votes than yesterday's. We asked who it is that you would like to see be the replacement for FBI director. And we used names that are being tossed around. Knowing Trump, it will probably be somebody who's not even being mentioned. But regardless of the fact, here are the names that we've put up there, and so far the results. And you should weigh in by going to DennisMichaelLynch.com. You could search polls, and then you'll find this one at the top. Or you could not do the poll and just send us a response using the Submit News button. But who do you want for FBI director? Trey Gowdy, Sheriff David Clark, Rudy Giuliani, former NYPD top cop Ray Kelly, Governor Chris Christie, or the existing temporary guy who's in place right now who is a political mess, Andrew McCabe. And who do you think is leading, Harlan?
I don't know. I don't know who.
Oh, it's a runaway.
Who?
Trey Gowdy.
Oh, it's Trey, really?
Trey Gowdy, yeah. That's who I'd like to see in there. If not, I'd like to see Rudy. I don't think Sheriff Clark would be a good choice for this.
See, I don't like any high-profile names. And Trey is a little bit low profile enough he may be able to get through.
He's low profile enough, but
And
man,
he's highly educated. He's a smart guy. He'd be great. He's principled.
he knows how to look underneath those forms, man.
Oh, man.
The only thing that Trey Gowdy has ever done where I've been really like, come on, Trey,
What?
is he supported Marco Rubio for president. And I was like, oh, that's so establishment. You know what I mean? But he is you steal Trey Gowdy's lunch, you better run and hide. Because he's going to figure out not only who stole it,
Yeah.
who ate it,
Yep.
and where the crumbs are. And that's what I like about him going in there. He ain't gonna. Could you imagine Trey Gowdy being the FBI director, and Trump being like, "Hey, should we look at this Hillary Clinton thing one more time?"
Yeah.
Trey Gowdy would be like, "All right, that's it for us. Until tomorrow. God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the president and these United States, and God bless the newest member of Team DML, the ever so beautiful Miss Ashley. We'll show you sooner or later, Ash. All right, over and out. See you later. Don't forget to share. Bye.